Stephanie, you good? Okay, all right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday, November 9th Board of Commissioners meeting. We would call things to order at this time. It's 10 a.m. If you would, please rise if you're able for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody, so much. At this time, we will accept public comment for items that do not appear on today's agenda. Is there any public comment at this time? We are seeing none. We'll move into looking at if we need any additions to our agenda. Is there any additions to the agenda at this time?
No.
Okay, we seeing none. We'll look for a motion to approve our minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes from the Board of Commissioners meeting and work sessions.
I will second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 The motion is carried. Okay. So we have a very special recognition today, and we're going to welcome up Tom Bolden, Jim Coslow, and also we have Tom's wife Shirley here, and I think she's going to act as a. Are you going to join us up here, Shirley, or photographer? Okay. Okay.
She's the moral
Okay.
support.
Okay. Well, we appreciate Shirley's presence here, but Tom, please, we'll welcome you up to the table with us. But I think Jim's going to do some introductory comments, and we'll go from there.
Come on
So
up,
please,
Tom.
Tom, please join us. There you go, Steve.
Good morning, and thank you, Commissioners. If I may, I have a little bit of background information for you this morning. Center County was declared a conservation district by the Center County Commissioners in October of 1954, with a mission of helping farmers and others with the conservation of soil and water, assist in watershed protection and flood prevention, preserve woodland and wildlife, and promote the health, safety, and general welfare of the people of Center County. Today, we administer numerous regulatory and voluntary programs and secure and administer numerous grants to assist with best management practice implementation. The Conservation District is comprised of 7 board members appointed by the commissioners, including 4 farmer directors, 2 public directors, and 1 county commissioner. Center County is very fortunate to have a Conservation District board made up of individuals who are knowledgeable, engaged, and dedicated to conserving the soil and water resources of Center County. The Center County Conservation District would like to recognize one of its board members, Mr. Thomas Bolden, for 50 years of service to its board of directors. Mr. Bolden joined the Conservation District Board in the spring of 1970 to fill an unexpired term of another board member. Shortly thereafter, he was appointed by the commissioners to his own term on the board and has served on the board continuously since then. Over the years, Tom has served as chairman, vice chairman, and served on many committees, and even helped with the day-to-day operation of the Conservation District in the absence of a district manager. Tom has a lifelong interest in farming and agriculture, growing up on his family dairy farm and then starting a farm of his own with his wife Shirley and their 2 children. Tom was active in 4-H and FFA as a youth, learning about soil productivity, and soil judging, along with agricultural best management practices, allowing him to become a steward of our abundant natural resources. He was awarded the Conservation Farmer of the Year award by the Conservation District in 1982. Tom's wisdom, knowledge, and experience in agriculture and natural resource conservation are true assets to the Conservation District Board. I've worked with Tom my entire career at the Conservation District, and his leadership and guidance have been invaluable. The entire Conservation District staff and board would like to sincerely thank and honor Mr. Thomas Bolden for his 50 years of dedicated service to Center County and its natural resources.
Okay. Jim, very well done. Thank you so much for that introduction. And for 18 of those years, you're joined by Commissioner Dersham on the board, and I think we'll turn it over to Commissioner Dersham for maybe some comments now.
Well, I don't know a time without Tom, so I can't reference what the board was like previously. And I don't think many people in this area can after 50 years. That's an amazing accomplishment. But something that I would like to recognize, and she's here with you today, is your wife Shirley. And one of the things that we talked about you talked about at the Farm City dinner, and was this isn't done without the support of family and loved ones who all those meetings and all those meetings and all those meetings over the course of 50 years. And meanwhile, you had a farm to run, and your wife was very instrumental in that. And I would like to recognize Shirley, who's with us here today, and her dedication as well, because it really is a family family effort. But you've been remarkable on the board, and you're full of insight, and I believe you probably are good for a few more years, hopefully, yet. We're not quite done with you, but we'd like to recognize the 50 years that you have served, and I will tell you that we are better for it. And I just want to thank you and your family for all of the time and effort that you've devoted to the citizens and the conservation efforts here in Center County. And I think Jim's comments were just about spot on, that even when we didn't have a director, you were there to help out, and even in the good times, you were very influential in making sure that we stayed on a great track. So it wouldn't be the same Conservation District Board without you. So thank you very much. And Shirley, congratulations as well, and I appreciate all your time and effort. So,
Mr. Bolden, it is an incredible achievement, even 10 years of service, 20 years, but to have 50 years of service to the Conservation District is a remarkable achievement, and we can't say thank you enough. But nearly half a century of service is again, a tremendous achievement, and really does set the precedent and sets an example for other folks who we need to serve. We need more leadership and service, so thank you for providing that to our community.
Yes, we very much appreciate your service, your wife backing you up. We have hundreds of citizen volunteers who serve on our dozens of advisory boards, but 50 years is really amazing. Thanks again. You probably don't want to calculate how many meetings that was.
we could do a brief count.
Yeah.
And it would be about 600
That's
or
right.
close.
Yeah.
That's not to mention all the other dirt and gravel road things that you've been involved in, and all the other projects that, so there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of meetings in there. That's amazing.
It's been a good ride, and thank you for the opportunity to serve our county.
It is indeed, we are in your debt, so thank you.
We would be honored to present this certificate of recognition to you at this time, Tom, and if you want to join us up front, Jim as well, and sure, we would love to have Shirley, and we could find somebody else who could take a photo, Shirley, if you'd like to join us.
I bet you Natalie.
Natalie would be happy to, sure, yeah.
We'll put the roses in the middle, we'll put the thorns on the outside.
More to the left, okay. Is that good? Okay, fantastic. Okay.
Thank you.
And you know, there is something to be said for these masks, because years from now, when
Yeah,
your
that's right.
family and your great-great-great-grandchildren are looking at these pictures, they'll go, I know when that was.
Yeah, Tom.
You won't need a date stamp on it.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks for being here. Thank you.
Shirley, thank you.
very
What a
much.
pleasure. What a pleasure. Tom, it's been really, truly a pleasure.
We'll try and get it
We're not
right.
done yet. Yeah, well, we'll see how the next time you get your 100-year,
Nice drink your milk sticker there on your phone, Shirley. Great promotion for Derek.
Our granddaughter did that because she was always tired and saying, "That- that's not a mic."
Thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yay. That's a milestone.
Absolutely, that is incredible. Okay.
You have a pretty
Yeah, please.
successful farm as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, to be a dairy farmer nowadays, period, you're working very hard.
That was nice to have Tom and Shirley join us, and looking forward to, again, more service on the Conservation District Board. We'll move on in our agenda to our American Rescue Plan Act section, and we'll welcome at this time Liz Lose, our Assistant Director of Planning and Community Development, to discuss a contract with CTC Technology and Energy Services.
Okay, where do you gentlemen want me?
Oh, please, in the middle or right next to would be great, just anywhere there's a microphone. Yeah, thanks.
So the mic is on.
It is. Thanks, Liz.
Okay, thank you. I'm really excited today because this really marks a new effort
on behalf of the commissioners to advance improvements in broadband across Center County. This morning, I'm going to be asking their approval of the contract with CTC Technologies to do a broadband internet assessment. This is going to be, of course, a countywide initiative with the intent to have staff from CTC come in and provide us some guidance as to where these priority investments in infrastructure could be made. We're going to kick off shortly after we get your signatures with a kickoff meeting, followed by some stakeholder meetings. CTC staff is also agreeable to provide assistance with an online survey. So we have a much better understanding of where broadband service gaps are. I say that ironically because this morning there is a major internet outage on the East Coast.
As I found out this morning.
As we all found out, part of this process, also internal to Center County government, is going to be pulling in our 911 communications and EMA department, because in the event when we have outages like this, how crucial there are. But I'm certainly looking forward to getting this initiative kicked off. I really appreciate all your support on this equally, and we are really excited to see what could come out of this as far as what the needed infrastructure is, where it should go, and what part we can play, especially with the future funding opportunities. And we give a lot of kudos to the CTC staff. We went through the process of interviewing 2 consultants, and CTC just seemed to prove and demonstrated that they were the best option for Center County.
Thank you, Liz. And as you said, CTC's experience, and they've done this work with other states, other counties, other cities, some in Pennsylvania, some across the country. And really, they did demonstrate the ability to draw down major federal dollars, major state dollars, and I think it's going to be crucial as we move forward, especially with the passage of the Infrastructure and Investment Act recently last week. That allows, their estimates of Pennsylvania getting, hundreds of millions of dollars in broadband money. And this is really going to be a great timing where we know we need more broadband. We know, we have some thoughts about where it's needed. But this study will really be able to use data and justify the grant applications when we put them in later in 2022, where that broadband could be most utilized and where that investment really could make an impact. So it's exciting, very exciting. And you've done a tremendous amount of work on this. The rest of the planning staff has really assisted in various ways. And this will really be something that will make a meaningful difference to people when it comes to broadband service. So thank you so much. But more work ahead for sure. But this is an exciting step.
Sure, thanks, Mike. As you mentioned, Liz, a lot of people on the East Coast woke up this morning to no internet. Imagine if that was every single day of the week and every single day of the month and every single day of the year. Nowadays, the internet is as crucial as electricity and heat and phone service. It's critical for housing values, for supporting our small businesses, for students, for young families. People just aren't going to buy homes or move to areas where there is no internet. It's just a fact. And as Commissioner Pipe mentioned, the American Rescue Plan and the Infrastructure and Investment Acts provide billions and billions of dollars nationwide, probably a large fraction of $1 billion just for Pennsylvania. So I would urge our state legislators to provide grant funding for our rural areas in Pennsylvania to be able to afford broadband. It's not cheap, especially when you have relatively low population density. But very happy to see this moving forward. Would like to thank the planning department, especially Liz, for your hard work on this. I just kind of feel like hopefully we're toward the front of the line on this one, and that we can react quickly and hopefully within the next couple of years actually be providing broadband service throughout rural parts of Center County. We've already done major parts of Penns Valley, Georges Valley, and Brush Valley, but I'd like to spread that out further. Thanks.
Thank you.
I think what separates CTC, in my mind, and some of the other folks is, and I think it's a credit to you and Ray and your research, is finding a company that really has the wherewithal to go after those dollars, as Mark indicated, because that's, I mean, it is little more than a study and another book on a shelf without an action plan afterwards and the resources that we need to make it happen. And I'm very excited that CTC is going to be working with us to not only find out where our weaknesses are, and I think we could probably point to most of them, but the strategy moving forward to get to the point where we can actually provide internet and broadband service to some of these areas. That's going to be the challenge. That's going to be that's where the expertise comes in, and I'm very excited to see what the future lies with them, because, as was already indicated, this is pretty important stuff. And I think this is the electricity of the 1930s, when we were trying to electrify a lot of rural America. Well, we're providing information technology to rural America now, and I think your leadership and Ray's leadership on this has been very crucial in making it happen. So thank you.
No, you're quite welcome. So, are there any other questions this morning?
Please, any questions? Haley? All right, we would look then for a motion to approve the contract.
Motion to approve the contract with CTC Technology and Energy.
I will second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 The motion is carried. Liz, thank you again.
Okay,
Thank
thank you very much.
Under our contract and authorizations, we have two from Emergency Communications. The first is an addendum to the general maintenance agreement with Breons, and they provide our enhanced generator maintenance for our 18 important tower sites across the county. And this contract is for $29,475.76, and it's for 1 year, November 16th of 2021 to November 16th of 2022. We also have an addendum, and this would be for the contract addendum number 2. And this is with Senator Wisp, who is helping broadband, as we mentioned, in various areas of the county and the state. This is approving it for the Center Hall Tower, and this would essentially increase their rent to $400 a month. The total revenue over the next 5 years is $17,135.62. So we look for a motion to add both of those items to next week's consent agenda.
Sure. Motion to add emergency communications items 1 and 2 to next week's consent agenda.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. Okay, for Human Services, we'll welcome up Natalie. Good morning.
Good morning. I have before the board 6 contracts on behalf of the MHID office. First 2 are specific to drug and alcohol treatment, particularly inpatient withdrawal residential case management type of services. First is with Avenues Recovery Medical Center at Valley Forge. Used to be Valley Forge Medical Center, a total of $5,000. And then we have our contract with White Deer Run, which totals $70,000. We just use White Deer Run at an increased level due to the proximity of where it's located for us. Contract 3 is an addendum with Crossroads Counseling to finish up the last fiscal year. So it's actually July 1, 2020 to June 30th, 2021. And this reflects a rate change that we did for the provider, as well as some additional services near the end of the fiscal year. So it increased it to $173,233. Contracts 4 or 5, Oasis Life Care and Penn State Psychological Clinic are 2 of our providers for a variety of outpatient services, whether that be therapy, medication, evaluations, etc. So both of those providers. And then our last one is with St. Francis University, specifically for our surveys that we do on behalf of our intellectual disability population. And that contract is, again, for this current fiscal year.
Thank you, Natalie. Just noting the change on item 3, just for this past fiscal year, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? I'm sorry, to move it to next week's consent agenda.
Motion to approve the mental health, intellectual disability, early intervention, drug and alcohol items 1 through 6, with the correction of the date for item 3 for ending in fiscal 2021 to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is carried. Thank you,
Yeah,
Natalie.
thank you.
Thank you. For our 1 grant item today, we'll welcome up Ray Salinas, Director of Planning and Community Development, and this is with DEP. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning, Commissioners. This morning, bring to you the grant agreement, grant signature for the PA Department of Environmental Protection program for 2022, mosquito-borne disease control. The total grant award for next year would be $80,433.63, which is all state funded for the period of January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2022. As you know, this grant program covers Center, Clinton, and Clearfield counties based out of our office with a coordinator and a technician. This grant money also contributes to operational equipment such as sprayers, traps, larvicide, dry ice, etc. Tick surveillance is included within this grant, and the season for our coordinator and technician usually runs April 1st through September 30th. This past year, we had to extend that season through DEP because of the hot and moist conditions, so there were some problem areas throughout the county that were addressed with those staff, so we're asking consideration for this program for next year.
Thank you, Ray. I think it's a benefit to the community. I think we see a lot of citizens who see this as a big help in terms of pest control. But any other comments or questions on this? Yeah,
Citizens and horses, too.
that's true.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Just one question, Ray. In regard to West Nile, how many, do you have the data, approximately how many cases we had in Center County last year of West Nile virus?
We do. I believe there were at least 7 to 8 positives that were reported, and then obviously put in the newspaper for folks to understand that there's things they can do on their property to improve mosquito-borne disease situations. So I think that was about the number. It was a little bit higher than usual.
Right, okay. Yeah, I know we had a number of positive cases last year.
And it was higher in Center County. I know the surrounding counties, and talking with our coordinator, that Clinton and Clearfield did not have as many West Nile hits as we did.
All right, thank you.
All right, so we look for a motion to add this grant agreement to next week's consent agenda.
Motion to add the grant agreement with the Department of Emergency Protection in next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
Environmental.
Yeah,
Environmental.
Environmental,
That's okay,
sorry,
yeah.
Department of Environmental
No,
Protection.
no worries. All right, so we moved and seconded to next week's consent agenda. Any final discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Thank you, Ray. Would we look for a motion at this time to approve this week's consent agenda?
Motion to approve this week's consent agenda.
All right, we moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. The motion is carried. Okay. We will go into our check run and turn it over to Commissioner Higgins.
Sure. A very small check run this week of $273,993.77. The check of the week is to William Penn Printing for $2,696.60 for a broad variety of printing services. The total bill for that is, of course, substantially higher, but they bill us per area they print. So would like to make a motion to approve the check run dated November 5th.
I will second that.
Been moved and seconded. Maybe some elections material, potentially.
Yes.
William Penn, so.
Yes.
Yeah, ballots maybe. All right. Been moved and seconded to approve today's check run. All those in favor of approving the check run say aye.
Aye.
The check run has been approved. Okay. And then Commissioner Dershowitz, any voter registration news?
Well, actually, no registration
Okay.
news, but
Okay.
I'd like to indicate that the write-in results are available at
great.
centervotes.gov.
Oh, all right.
Oh, excellent.
We have to apologize that just the sheer volume of write-ins that occurred this year, particularly one of the races of note that I know there's a lot of interest in is Potter Township, that did not have a declared candidate. They had, write-in candidates, and so those are available online. And then this afternoon's election board meeting, we will certify the unofficial results after we do the final tabulation of the military and overseas ballots that are outstanding. So should have things wrapped up number-wise today, and then we'll completely certify everything next week. So.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. We do also want to recognize and appreciate that the offices of Center County Government will be closed this Thursday in honor and recognition of Veterans Day, and again, Thursday, November 11th. We do not have any executive sessions to report this time. We will pause for any questions from the press. Gary or Haley, any questions?
Is it too early? Have you gotten any kind of breakdown from the new infrastructure bill? how much might be available for broadband, or any kind of expenditures yet?
Just seen Pennsylvania's numbers, and I think they're just basically taking the latest census numbers and dividing. That's what the law has in it. But again, it probably would be too early in terms of how much Center County would be available. But if you just do raw populations, it would be in the millions for all the categories they have, from replacing lead pipes, broadband, bridges, et cetera. But again, it just passed, so we'll wait and see the final tally.
The study approved, what's the timetable for when they get back to you with the report?
6 months approximately, yes, about half a year, and there's different phases of the project, but stakeholder engagement, surveys, crunching the data, looking at places where investments could occur. But to go to Commissioner Dersham's point during the meeting, it's really going to be an action plan in many ways, where we can incentivize and assist with broadband companies, local, some national, that in terms of investment and build out.
We hope the state legislature, which I believe has the authority for a lot of these national funds, hopefully they'll have some grant programs in place, or at least some early indications, so that we can take the results of this study and turn it hopefully pretty quickly into grants.
Thank you.
Any other questions before we adjourn? Okay. All right. We look for a motion then to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn at 10:26.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all very much. Have a great day.